The night was tense, the air thick with urgency. Dr. Marcus Reynolds, a renowned black surgeon, sped through the dimly lit streets, his heart pounding as he raced to the hospital. A young child's life hung in the balance, one he was uniquely qualified to save. But flashing red and blue lights cut through the darkness. "Step out of the car." The officers' voices were sharp, their hands hovering over their holsters. Marcus tried to explain, but his words were drowned out by suspicion. Handcuffs clicked around his wrists, time slipping away with every second. Meanwhile, at the hospital, a frantic mother pleaded for help. Her son, barely clinging to life, needed a miracle, and the man who could save him. He was pinned against a patrol car, fighting for more than just his freedom. Would the officers realize the truth before it was too late? Dr. Reynolds struggled to stay calm, his mind racing as the officers patted him down. "Please, I'm a surgeon. A child is waiting for me," he urged, but his words barely seemed to register. One officer, Sergeant Mitchell, eyed him suspiciously. Why the rush? License and registration. Marcus' hands were still cuffed. He exhaled sharply, frustration rising. "In my pocket," he said, his voice steady but urgent. The officers exchanged glances before one of them pulled out his wallet. Back at the hospital, a team of doctors stood by, watching the monitors. The child's condition was worsening. His mother gripped the nurse's hand, tears streaking her face. "Where is he?" "He said he was coming," she whispered, desperation in her voice. Sergeant Mitchell glanced at Marcus' ID. His eyes flickered with something, doubt, maybe recognition, but instead of releasing him, he hesitated. "Why should I believe you?" Marcus clenched his jaw, forcing himself to stay composed. Every second lost was a second closer to disaster. "Look me up. Call the hospital. Do something," he said, his voice strained but firm. Officer Carter, younger and visibly unsure, shifted uncomfortably. "Sarge, what if he's telling the truth?" he muttered, but Mitchell didn't budge. "A lot of people say things to get out of trouble." He studied Marcus, searching for any sign of deception. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Dr. Patel checked the vitals again. The child's pulse was weakening. "We can't wait much longer," he warned the nurse. The boy's mother was pacing, gripping her phone. She redialed Marcus' number, no answer. Back on the street, Marcus' phone vibrated in his car, the screen flashing with the mother's name. Carter noticed. His gut told him something was off. "Sarge, maybe we should at least check his story." Mitchell hesitated, but was it already too late? Marcus could feel his pulse pounding in his ears. He had spent years saving lives, but now he was powerless. "Please," he said, his voice cracking. "A little boy is dying, and I'm the only one who can help him." Officer Carter hesitated, his eyes darting between Marcus and the flashing phone screen inside the car. The caller ID still glowed. Something in him shifted. "Sarge, just let me check," he said, reaching for the door handle. Mitchell sighed, clearly annoyed but nodded. Carter grabbed the phone, answering on speaker. The panicked voice of the mother filled the night air. "Dr. Reynolds, where are you?" "He's crashing. You promised me you were coming." Her voice broke into sobs. A tense silence followed. Mitchell's expression hardened, but something flickered in his eyes. Then, a call came through the police radio. Urgent request from the hospital. A boy coding. In desperate need of a surgeon. Carter's breath caught. "Sarge, it's him. He's telling the truth." Mitchell's grip on Marcus' arm loosened, but was there still enough time? Marcus felt the tension shift. The officers had finally realized the truth, but precious time had already been lost. "Uncuff him," Carter urged. Mitchell hesitated, then pulled out the key, unlocking the restraints. Marcus rubbed his wrists, wasting no time. "I need my car." But just as he turned to get in, the police radio crackled again. Suspect matching description of recent robbery. Black male, dark suit, seen fleeing in a vehicle. The dispatcher listed Marcus' car model. Mitchell's face darkened. "You've got to be kidding me," he muttered under his breath. Marcus' stomach dropped. You can't be serious. Carter looked conflicted. Sarge, this doesn't add up. He's a doctor, his ID, the hospital's call. Mitchell's jaw was tight, and yet the description matches. Marcus took a step forward. I don't have time for this. That boy will die without me. Carter swallowed hard. Sarge, if we're wrong, a kid loses his life. Mitchell stood frozen, one choice, one moment, and time was slipping away. Mitchell's grip tightened on his belt. His instincts screamed caution, but something about the mother's voice on the phone, the hospital's desperate call, and Carter's pleading gaze made him hesitate. Then another crackle from the radio. Robbery suspect apprehended, not the same vehicle. A heavy silence fell. Mitchell exhaled sharply. Go. Marcus didn't wait. He jumped into his car, tires screeching as he sped off. Carter watched, still gripping the radio. He's gonna make it, right? He muttered. Mitchell didn't answer. At the hospital, alarms blared. The boy's body convulsed, nurses scrambling. His mother screamed his name, tears streaming. Where is he? She sobbed. Then, bursting through the doors, still in his suit, breathless. Marcus, get me gloves, now. He rushed to the operating room, hands steady, mind focused. Hours later, the mother sat, head in her hands. A door opened. Marcus stepped out, exhausted but steady. He made it. Relief flooded the room, but before Marcus could exhale, another voice cut through the air, deep, controlled. Dr. Reynolds. He turned. Mitchell, standing in the hallway, watching him. We need to talk. Marcus wiped his forehead, exhaustion settling into his bones. The child was safe. That was all that mattered. But as he met Mitchell's eyes, he knew the night wasn't over yet. Mitchell stepped closer, his voice lower now. I made a mistake. The words felt heavy, almost foreign coming from him. I should have listened sooner. Marcus studied him, searching for sincerity. Finally, he nodded. A boy almost died because of that delay, he said quietly. Next time, listen first. Mitchell exhaled, his jaw tightening. Yeah, he admitted. Next time. Without another word, he turned and walked away. Outside, the first hints of morning touched the sky. Marcus glanced back at the hospital room, where the boy now slept peacefully. The night had nearly taken everything from him, but in the end he had saved a life. With a deep breath, he stepped into the cool air. It was over, for now.